With the basics of the Dow Jones defined, it can be said that if the Dow Jones significantly came down, it would be an indicator of a stock market crash and would have an enormously adverse effect on global financial markets in general and the U.S. economy in particular. In other words, such an event would signify a financial storm or crisis.
No clouds in my stones. Let it rain. I hydroplane in the bank coming down like a Dow Jones.
We can now make a knowledgeable translation from "Let it rain, I hydroplane in the bank, coming down with the Dow Jones" to "coming down to the bank with foreknowledge of a Dow Jones stock market crash." It can be extrapolated here that there will be a financial crisis or financial storm. This crisis or storm has been masterminded by a non-human entity who states that "no clouds in my storms." But how can a non-human entity create a financial crisis? The answer to this question applies to all actualizations of malicious intent towards humanity. Non-human entities have known for eons that the primary means of actualizing their own will on earth is through the demonic manipulation technology called possession. It can be established that through the possession of human beings, a malevolent entity seeks to create a financial crisis which will cause great suffering on earth. We can also theorize that this entity speaks through Jay-Z, signifying that Jay-Z is under the umbrella or control of this entity. For his acquiescence, Jay-Z has been given foreknowledge of the impending financial crisis. The entity states that, "When the clouds come, we gone." Before we continue, let us be aware of the fact that this particular lyric is somewhat ambiguous in terms of the identity of its speaker. I cannot be absolutely sure which being is being represented here, and that the vocal timbre sounds singular at first, but is followed by a second voice. While this call and response motif is not uncommon in African American music, it still stands to reason that it may be an indicator of whom or what is speaking. This being said, we will have to analyze the lyric "When the clouds come, we gone" dualistically. Let us assume here that it is the entity that speaks "When the clouds come, we gone." If this is the entity speaking through Jay-Z, then this particular lyric is interesting for two reasons. First, it reveals to us that there is more than one entity involved, as evidence in the use of "we gone." Secondly, it reveals to us that when the financial crisis takes place, the entities will not need to be present. Instead, they will be able to remain physically absent while actualizing their will on earth through the direct control of the human beings they possess. Let us now assume here that it is Jay-Z, the individual, that speaks. "When the clouds come, we gone." If "When the cloud comes, we gone" was spoken by the human being Jay-Z, then it would imply that Jay-Z is part of a group of human beings who are possessed by a group of entities. Furthermore, it suggests that the group of possessed human beings have foreknowledge of the looming financial crisis. This knowledge allows them safe passage through the torrential rains of the financial storm. They will be safe or gone when the financial storm comes. If we were to accept this particular lyrical interpretation, then the following lyric can be placed in proper context.
When the clouds come, we gone. We Rockefeller.
When the clouds come, we gone. We Rockefeller. Notice that the second part of this lyric states that we Rockefeller. Two things here. Jay-Z does not say "I am Rockefeller." Instead, he says "we Rockefeller," indicating that he is associated with the group of people who are impervious to the effects of the financial storm or crisis, and that they will be safe or gone when the financial storm comes. Before we proceed, let me provide you with the following information.
Rockefellers, we Rockefellers.
Rockefeller? Rockefeller is actually a derivation of Rockefeller. Rockefeller is the surname of one of the wealthiest families on planet Earth. This family, distinguished by the exploits of John D. Rockefeller, is an industrial, banking, and political family of Germanic origins. During the late 19th and early 20th century, the Rockefeller family made the world's largest private fortune in the oil business primarily through their Standard Oil company. This family also has a long-standing association and financial interest in the Chase Manhattan Bank, now J.P. Morgan Chase. Did you know that the Chase Manhattan Bank funded Hitler's Nazi Party? Confusing, is it not? Well, the Rockefeller family is in fact a globalist elitist family of Germanic origin. The Rockefeller dynasty wields great power over global financial markets and has enormous influence on world politics. They are in fact globalists and are proponents of what has been termed by many as the One World Order, or the New World Order. The concept of a New World Order is not new at all, as evidenced in the historical objectives of the elitist ruling political families of the ancient Egyptian Empire, the Hittite Empire, the Assyrian Empire, the Babylonian Empire, the Roman Empire, the European colonialist empires, amongst countless others. The New World Order is therefore not new and is systemically comprised of the belief that the destiny of humanity on Earth is one of total planetary rule via a one world government, one world religion, one world economy, one world currency, one world order. The New World Order is simply a code word used to signify a control system that has enveloped the world for millennia. In his memoirs, dated 2002, David Rockefeller, the son of John D. Rockefeller, is quoted saying, "For more than a century, ideological extremists at either end of the political spectrum have seized upon well-publicized incidents, such as my encounter with Castro, to attack the Rockefeller family for the inordinate influence they claim we wield over American political and economic institutions. Some even believe we are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing my family and me as internationalists, and of conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure. One world, if you will. If that's the charge, I stand guilty, and I am proud of it." Conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure? One world? What is he talking about here? One world equals one world order equals new world order. These comments are not surprising when one learns of some of the international organizations supported by the Rockefeller family. The Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group, the Asia Society, the Population Council, the Council of Americas, the Group of 30, the World Economic Forum, the Brookings Institution, the Peterson Institute, the International Executive Service Corps, the Institute of Pacific Relations, the League of Nations, the United Nations, the United Nations Association. United Nations equals one world. One world equals one world order. One world order equals new world order. Amongst the global political ruling elite in general, and the Rockefeller family in particular, Bloodline is extremely important. The surname Rockefeller is not such that anyone can use it for commercial purposes.